Recorded out of Tin Pan Theater in Bend, Oregon. This is Small Town Film Ghosts, a production of Bendfilm and Tin Pan Theater. My name is Todd Lizer.
I'm Julie Furness.
And I'm Jared Rassick. Oh my god, I feel like I haven't been with you guys in so long.
It's been a little bit, you know? I realized the other day that I'm the one constant in this show so far.
You are. You absolutely are.
It's gonna be the Todd.
Yeah.
Eventually, one day, is there no one here?
Yep.
I'm the last one. I can finally read my books.
Pretty soon the show's gonna be called Small Town Todd Lizer.
yeah. It's just me out there.
Well, we had a great interview last week.
We did.
Todd and I, in your absence.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. We learned a lot. I learned a lot about the television industry, which I had not knew before.
It was really great hearing Grant's stories in the way that he was kind of he told a story almost as though he stumbled through like he wanted to become a writer and he just kind of found himself in the right place at the right time. In a lot of experience,
especially with Disney, going there with Michael Eisner and that whole group, and very honest about how male driven it was, how Jewish it was, how and then going over to Paramount and then wanting to do his own thing, and how you become a writer now. That was really, he is willing, by the way, anybody to look at your work. So if you want to know, put it in the comments or get in touch with us. We will get you in touch with Grant if you are an aspiring screenwriter, writer.
Here I am.
All right.
Can you guys get me in touch with him?
I can.
Okay. I've got 4 finished screenplays.
He's your guy.
Okay.
Hey, if Jared can do it, anyone can do it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I have 5 different learning disabilities.
That makes sense.
And they're all called the California Public Education System.
Hey, me too.
Yay!
This is the podcast where we talk about the movies playing at Tin Pan Theater. And we are currently open, and we're recording this on Wednesday, the 28th, which we know that yesterday, Oregon has gone through a few changes, but we are still going to be open this coming weekend and this coming week. We have a capacity of 6 people inside, starting on Friday. Also, we have been very conscious about making sure that theater feels safe. We want to make sure the customers come in and that you are being socially distanced. We have had we've had COVID safe seating for the last couple weeks anyway, and still we are continuing that trend.
Yes.
We hope that if you are feeling comfortable, we want to let you know that we are again trying to make it as safe as possible to come and see movies at Tin Pan right now.
Yep.
So please, if you are interested, we still encourage you to come by. You can buy tickets either online or in person. We are rarely selling out, so if you are honestly, if you're apprehensive about big crowds, we are not really getting big crowds currently, and even in the cases where we do sell out with the tops of 6 people, it's not crowded at all.
Yeah. We have not had, as any of the shifts I've worked, we haven't had a single complaint from anyone feeling unsafe about what we've done for our safety protocols.
Think of it as supporting local. There are plenty of places downtown who are serving outside, have outdoor seating. Get yourself something to eat. Come over and watch a movie. Go, after there's bar seating places. There's, Bonta ice cream across the street. Please support local as much as you can.
Yeah. We've even got a new event that we're going to do this coming Tuesday. We're adding another outdoor movie in the alleyway. We're going to be playing our classic B horror films again, starting with House on Haunted Hill, the classic Vincent Price movie. And we encourage you to get some takeout, bring it down to the alleyway. Go to one of your favorite local restaurants for takeout food and come and enjoy a movie on Tuesday nights. And that's in addition to also we're still doing the retro Godzilla movies on Thursday nights as well. But we are also playing inside the Anthony Hopkins film The Father, which we've played for now a week now, and we're going to continue. It is recently an Oscar winner, so if that helps you want to come see this movie, which I think it's a good reason to.
Yeah.
We are continuing to play it. It is an exceptional movie. I don't know if you two also share that opinion or not.
How many times have you seen it now?
I've seen it 3 times, but I will admit, this is one of those movies where I watched it in full the first time, and I thought, that is so good, I don't want to ruin my experience of it, so I haven't been fully paying attention to it the following times because it's a really powerful movie. movie.
That's exactly what I'm doing with it too. Is I really watched it kind of deeply and intently the first time, and now I'm trying to like not. Except there's a few moments where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to stop and watch this moment because my God,
it's a lot of real powerful acting. We will get into a little bit later in the episode the actual awards it received because we're going to talk about the Oscars in depth a little bit later. But yeah, very powerful acting, exceptional direction, and it's really all around. It's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
really
I
is.
agree. I don't know. I sometimes feel like Sir Anthony Hopkins can do just about anything. I don't, but at this, I felt like at first I'm like, oh, this was probably kind of easy for him, you know, like. But really, he gives such a powerful performance. It doesn't matter what he does. He could do a puppet show, and I would go see it. I love that man.
I do feel like I was blown away by his performance in Westworld. Like I like
it was good.
Like he put
he
so
was
much
chewing on that scene. Right?
Yeah.
But like in the Father, I really was. I was like, this might be the best I've ever seen him, and I've never not been amazed by him.
So there's an argument to be made that the Father may be his best work.
He's 83. He does stuff in that I've never seen him do. Like, and actors that are still doing that at 83, that's amazing.
They're taking challenges upon themselves.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's still, he's still doing that. I don't know if he'll ever retire. I really don't. I mean, this film is beautifully written, like you said, beautifully shot, and beautifully acted. And he is the star.
Yeah, it's also one of the things I thought about when watching the movie because I went in knowing that it is an adaptation of a play. Florian Zeller, the playwright himself, adapted it. He directed it himself. And a lot of times, sometimes when I watch movies that I know are adapted from stage plays, sometimes I think to myself like, I think about how it must have been portrayed on stage. This movie did a really great job of using a lot of the unique tools of film that Florian Zeller wouldn't have had available on stage, and definitely it's not a movie that you could say, oh, I can see how this came from the stage.
Right.
While you can say that, there are so many elements of The Father that they use the medium of film in a way like they find the unique tools of film. They're like, okay, we're gonna really drive these themes home or these visual components home, using the cinematographic tool that we have. It really elevates it beyond just an adaptation from a stage play.
I think it's hard for a playwright to go from stage to screen, or do you think that some can, some don't? I mean, did you feel like this was stagey at sometimes, or?
Why? So that was a complaint that I read a lot about Fences when Fences came out. Was like some of the critics that weren't really fawning over it were complaining that it, like, oh, this feels like an adaptation of a play, and I guess I don't know why that's a bad thing, because sometimes that gives a film a chance to feel more intimate than they sometimes can, and I never felt like Fences was too stage bound, and whereas it seemed like I think the thing about The Father that makes it feel theatrical is the fact that the scenes are so long. Like they're these long scenes that just get to breathe, But I don't like every movie that I see that feels theatrical. I'm like, that felt great. Like Reservoir Dogs feels theatrical, and it wasn't like there's a ton of movies that feel that way, but it's almost like if it actually was based on a play, then that's almost like a ding against it.
Yeah,
and I don't get that.
I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan, as you know, and all of his films obviously are very stagey.
Stagey, sure. Yeah.
I mean, I like that, but but I'm kind of, I guess I'm more talking about films that come from the stage plays. Yeah.
Right.
That translates.
One thing that your question is reminding me of, I remember the first time I took a screenwriting class, one of the first things my professor said to us was, in stage plays, you tell your story through dialogue, but in screenplays you tell your story visually as much as possible.
Okay.
And I would say that with The Father, they used the visual language as much as they could. I feel like there was a lot of storytelling that was done visually in The Father, and they didn't necessarily rely on the dialogue to tell a lot of the story. And I think that might be where the best transitions, the best adaptations happen, is when they transition from stage to screen, recognizing when they can rely more on visuals and less on dialogue.
Right. Well, and the Father is the dialogue is naturalistic.
Very
Whereas like in Fences, it's theatrical. It's August Wilson. It's like we're gonna say how we're feeling, So I don't know. It amazed me about The Father, where every shot you're like, yeah, this is kind of exactly how this should look. One of the moments that really got to me in The Father is when Anthony Hopkins walks out of his room and he's in the hospital. And there's a very, 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 very long shot of him walking down the hospital hallway. And I was like, there could have been 3 or 4 cuts right here, and there's none. It is just watching the confusion and the pain and the fear and all of this in his face without him saying a word. So yeah, it was the least stagey way of shooting a play.
You can't do that. You cannot do that on the stage.
Right. Yeah, none of that could have been done on the stage.
Yeah, like the thing that communicated to me the most that this was originally a stage play was just because the whole story essentially takes place in essentially one location.
Right.
The power of the story is the fact that it doesn't really.
Yeah.
But outside of that, again, the way that every time the location, quote unquote, changed, it was always these slight differences that, again, they used, the actual visual cinematography to communicate those changes as they happened in the space, which was great.
Yeah. Small space, big changes. Big screen,
right.
Big ideas.
Big ideas, yeah.
And also the other thing I wanted to mention too is like, if you look at the performances of like Olivia Williams and Olivia Colman and Poots.
Imogen Poots.
Imogen, I like calling her Poots. And Mark Gatiss, Rufus Sewell, like all of the work that they do in that movie is very, very, very subtle. And so is Hopkins to some degree, but he's also in every frame of that movie. Nearly every frame. So it's like really all those other actors, like the thing that's almost the most impressive about all of their performances is they just stayed in the moment with Anthony Hopkins, as opposed to trying to do something flashy or do something too big.
Definitely.
Olivia Colman was so subtle. Like I think it was the most subtle I've ever seen her be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like just like that play could have been a 2-hander. Like I would have watched that whole play if it was just the two of them. Or the whole film.
She's used to being the star.
Right.
And she's. But it's the favorite, But Anthony Hopkins is the center of the universe.
Right.
In this film, everybody revolves around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really I feel like it's only in the last few years that Olivia Colman has now reached headlining status.
Yeah,
She worked hard.
I'm sure that she recognizes herself as she's an actor before she is a star.
Definitely.
Right.
I'm sure that I would be curious to see. I didn't do my research as to who has previously starred in The Father on stage. I would not be surprised if it was Anthony Hopkins and Coleman who had previously starred in this play on stage.
You would think so, right?
But I can see Coleman as being an actress who recognizes that part doesn't have to be the lead to be so important and integral to its story.
Right. Ooh.
Well, and she's been really tied up in production with the film. So,
Right.
I mean, that's, it seems like it's been on Netflix forever now, so, but.
Yeah,
so the
Father, she's been on for the last 2 seasons.
The play is French, It won the 2014 Moliere Award for Best Play.
Nice.
Look at us learning information on Mike.
Yeah. So when it premiered in England, the father was played by Kenneth Cranham. Oh my God, the American Broadway
Okay, who is in it?
Frank Langella played the father in the Broadway version. Oh my God, with Catherine Irby playing Anne. And then they've also done it in Singapore, and it was big in Singapore. But it has been staged in 45 countries since it opened in 2012.
It's a pretty universal story that I'm sure can be translated into many different cultures.
Yeah.
It's about, all of our parents eventually are gonna go through stuff. So it's a pretty universal story.
I have watched this happen already. So.
Right.
Well.
So I think we all really like The Father. We all recommend it.
I was like hyped for that movie, and it exceeded my hype.
Agreed.
Also, I want to mention that it's a horror movie.
Yeah. That was the thing that you said to me, Jared, after you saw the first.
It's a horror movie. And I'm not talking about the dementia. I'm talking about the music, the score, the tone, the camera movements. You know what it reminds me of is the Mother. It reminds me of because it almost plays like a mystery thriller, like more than a drama. And I wonder if that's why Academy voters were so into it, because they went into it being like, oh, this is going to be a sad, dry, thing, and it rockets by, and it just
it's got real speed.
The music does move along the story really well.
And Jared, your description of it as a horror film, I think, works really well. But I also do want to say, if you are someone who generally does not like horror films, don't take that as this is a scary movie by any means.
No.
It's
just totally. Totally.
If you go into it expecting a great acting drama film, you are still going to get that, and that is what it is. It's got that underlying real life horror to it.
Real life horror.
Real life horror.
Alright.
I think the only other thing I want to mention before we get to our Oscar discussions is that we are opening Treble Hunters this Friday.
Woohoo!
If you've been coming by the theater, you've seen the trailers for it. Documentary about the truffle hunters in Italy and how they train these dogs to specifically search for truffles in the Italian forest. You get to see great farmers and scavengers drinking wine and playing with their dogs and playing the accordion in the Italian countryside.
Yeah, it used to be pigs, these special pigs,
right.
And now I think they're in some remote areas they still use those pigs.
I think the pigs might be more of a French thing. And
like French Italian, that kind of region up, more north. But these dogs,
And it does it's one of those documentaries, kind of like Some Kind of Heaven, where every shot is just gorgeous.
It's immaculately framed.
It looks like a Wes Anderson movie.
A painting.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think I want to let's throw to a quick break before we come back and talk about our Oscar discussion.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna unpack things because it was a weird year.
It was so weird.
It was weird. Yeah. It was almost like Steven Soderbergh directed the Oscars.
Might as well.
Not the worst thing that happened this year.
No.
All right, everyone. Stick around. We're going to come right back with our discussion on this year's Academy Awards, the 93rd of 2021. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Listening.
All you listeners out there. Hey, listeners.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
I didn't know you were going there. It's not unusual.
Have fun with anyone. But I always think of him punching the aliens in Mars Attacks.
Oh.
Hey,
boy.
you're Tom Jones. Dan Diego coming up. It's not unusual to meet love.
Oh, Big Fish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good stuff.
I know. Tim Burton. Sorry.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now going to get into our discussion of unpacking and recapping the Oscars.
Oh boy.
We hope you watched. I know that it was a bit of a weird year. This weird year, and I know that the actual viewership numbers did drop a lot this year.
Oh, the lowest they've ever been.
Yep.
Below
yeah.
10 million.
Yeah.
No one cared. And the even red carpet stuff, people just, I mean, I was in LA on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And the Oscars were supposed to be secret this year of where they were being held, but really it wasn't a secret. They were at Union Station.
That's
not.
funny. Yeah, I thought that was announced pretty early. That
Well,
it was
I don't know what people were thinking, really, what they thought they were going to see, but I kept driving by Hollywood Boulevard, and I'm like, why isn't the red carpet up? So I didn't even know, what they always have, so when it's at the Kodak Theater, it's days of preparation. There's usually a tent, and, you cannot get around at all that way, but it was at Union Station.
With regular traffic still going through Union Station.
Yep, regular traffic.
People were using the trains and getting around just like normal.
Yep, and nobody travels down there. But Hollywood was as busy as ever. And it was, it's always a busy weekend, a fun weekend for me, for parties and things like that. My flights kept getting changed, so I wasn't able to attend the party that I was supposed to. However... interesting year.
Yeah. What were your thoughts heading into the Oscars before you actually sat down and watched them? What were you expecting? What did you know was going to happen? And what were your thoughts going in?
Yeah. So I knew, because there were, they were already talking about, fashion and red carpet. I knew that, that was going to be semi-normal. About half. They did not. I mean, usually it is just insanity on the red carpet, and when it is done in Hollywood, you can get pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I've been right up close there, and, but this year, every reporter was 6 feet away. There was a rope, or a kind of a roped off area where the star had to stand, and they sort of had to yell at them a little bit. That was kind of weird, but
you could definitely see if you watch some of the pre-shows, there was a lot of the mic down below that was then up and people standing 6 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, and it was obvious that the non-actors and actresses they came later. You got a lot of at the beginning. You got a lot of cinematographers and wardrobe, costume. People,
a lot of the below the line
sort of. It was like they were early, Trent Reznor and his team, and so you saw something that was kind of interesting on an iPad, to the reporters. They showed, the name of the person and who they were. And, you would see a lot in the comments, online, who is that? And it's like, these are the people that make the films that all of you watch.
Yeah. The idea of an actual motion picture is possible because of these folks.
Because of these people, all right? So just because you don't recognize them.
Yep.
But a lot of those. So a lot of that was here's who this is, take pictures. So it'd be they would take a picture together with their team. Then it would be okay, we just want a picture of Trent Reznor, because we think, he's definitely going to win tonight, anyway, so I think I want to say Chloe Zhao was one of the first directors to show up.
Got it.
And everyone was like, oh my God, what is, I think everyone expected her to wear a dress, but they were expecting her to wear something really different, and she did. It was very subtle.
Yeah.
Beautiful color.
She obviously had some
tennis shoes.
Very comfortable sneakers on. Yeah, which I respect so much. And it's please do that. That's so good.
She's super hippie. She's known for directing barefoot a lot. And so if she could go barefoot, she would, because she's the most comfortable. She shows up to photo shoots in her own clothes.
Love it.
No makeup, and she does her own hair.
Hair tied, tied in a braid.
Braids or whatever, and she just, but she's still, steals the spotlight. And everybody was rooting for her.
Totally.
And you know, I have a lot to say about Nomadland, but
we'll get into it. We'll unpack it. I think I do want to say, going into these, going into the awards show this year, there was knowledge about how obviously it was going to be different. Obviously, the Oscars had been preparing for their COVID ceremony for the whole year. The decision to move it 2 months later, back when it was assumed that everything would be done by the beginning of 2021, didn't come to full fruition. But so obviously they still had to be adaptable in these times. So the big thing was that the award ceremony this year was held in Union Station as opposed to the Kodak Theater, and also that the producing team was Steven Soderbergh, as well as two other producers. One, her name is Stacy Scher, I believe. And she's been a producer on some of Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing a quote from Steven Soderbergh where he said that he wanted these Oscars to look like a movie, and so it was shot in 24 frames a second, which may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but that is the look of most motion pictures. And so going in, there was this idea of like, okay, it's going to be taking place in a different venue. It's going to have a different look to it, knowing that the Academy was taking a lot of precautions as to making sure everyone was vaccinated and all this stuff.
Yep. The tables were spaced out accordingly. There was definite route to the stage. The presenters, is really backed off.
Mm-hmm.
It was everyone was very conscious of spatial areas.
Definitely. And I will say, in some years I go into the Oscars being excited, and sometimes I go in not very enthused. And I will say I was pretty excited this year. I didn't really. I was looking forward to it. And maybe that's just because I just enjoy the whole narrative of Oscar wins and nominations, and so the telecast to me maybe doesn't quite matter as much as who actually eventually comes out on top. But I do think for most viewers, because this was a year where there were no big money makers, there were no big blockbusters, that has a lot to do with why people didn't really tune in as much.
I agree. And these films, when you really look at the list, I look at the list because I watch them.
Yeah. And they're great films.
Great films.
In a way, that is why I like this year, because it wasn't dominated by big studio pictures.
Yeah.
But of course, that's going to change for different folks and for different years.
And look who showed up. Look who the cat dragged in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jared, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure
You're working multiple jobs, Jared.
All good. Busy guy. We are talking about.
Jared, what were your thoughts going into this year's Oscars?
It was honestly one of the few years where I'd seen 98% of what was nominated. There were a few that looked so rough. I was like, I don't know if I can make it through that. I didn't see Pieces of a Woman. There were 4 or 5 like that where I was just like, I don't know if I have it in me to do that. I was excited because I had 4 or 5 movies this year that I was really, really in love with. Mm-hmm. But aside from 1 or 2 things, I felt like the winners were also more predictable than usual.
It was quite a predictable year, I will say. And what's funny is that didn't really dampen my spirits going in. I was still kind of fine with that.
It was one of those years where you're like, yes.
Yeah. Because there are years sometimes where it's predictable, and I don't like that those, for example, I didn't watch the year that Green Book won because I didn't want to watch that movie win. And I actually didn't watch the year that I assumed La La Land was going to win. And so I didn't actually see that live when that happened because I assumed it was going to be La La Land. It was like, I don't want to watch that movie win.
Right. And was that the year?
That was the year.
Color of Water?
No. That was when Moonlight.
Oh,
that was
actually
the
won.
Yeah,
that was the whole
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that was
so badass.
and that was terrible. And since then, things have gotten tighter security, obviously. And a lot of when they would open the ballot, they would actually turn it and show the camera. Show it to the camera, which really didn't happen before. But it was Yes, I am
Yeah.
reading who the winner is
Yeah.
on this envelope. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I swear.
yeah.
I swear.
In the last 3 years, that has definitely become
Yeah.
a much more common thing. I remember even too the year after Moonlight won, when Guillermo del Toro got Best Picture for Shape of Water. She showed it. He's like, it's the real one.
Yeah, it's the real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we want to get into this now, but I think this year's Oscars also kind of proved that at least the producers have no idea who the winners are.
Yeah.
Or else it would have been structured quite differently.
Yes, yeah. So we want to go through some of our highlights of this year. And do we want to go in the order that you kind of suggested?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have our fantasy ballots,
Yeah,
and we can keep those to ourselves. But I always have a fantasy ballot. But I'd like to talk about our favorite win of the night first. And my favorite win was, of course, Best Original Screenplay for Promising Young Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was your favorite win?
That was my favorite win, because I always love it when a pregnant blonde British woman wins for screenplay, best screenplay. Because as Grant was saying, and as a lot of industry people are saying right now, this is the time for women. Women, especially minority women, to get their material out there, because we have so long been oppressed. And so that was my favorite win, just because I love her. I loved the movie. I wasn't sure how far it was going to go.
Totally.
As far as like Best Picture and Actress, I mean, but I am so happy with this win.
Yeah, that win I put as one of my surprise wins, because Best Original Screenplay was kind of an open competition. Like, I wasn't sure which one was going to do it. I kind of felt like maybe Aaron Sorkin with Trials for the Chicago 7 was like the safe bet.
Yeah.
But when Emerald Fennell won that, like, I was very stoked when that happened.
Yeah.
Especially because the Screenplay Award is sometimes a place where if there's a really great movie and like has really great direction, but just doesn't quite have the support of Academy voters, sometimes the screenplay is where it wins. And I almost feel like Emerald Fennell's win for Promising Young Woman is similar to when Jordan Peele won screenplay for Get Out. It was like the Academy sort of recognized like this is sort of the cutting edge right now, and we're going to recognize you for being cutting edge in the screenplay category.
Right, or who wrote
like
Juno?
Diablo Cody.
Yeah, Diablo Cody. That it reminded me of Diablo Cody's win. And she just got up there in her flowy dress and was like, "Yeah, I did it. I was a stripper and I wrote a screenplay and I just won an Oscar." Boom.
Suck it.
Yes. Honestly, I'd say screenplay is often the most exciting category.
Yeah. So that's my favorite.
Cool. My favorite one of the night was definitely Yoon Yo Jung for Minari.
Okay.
I think when that happened, I literally did like a fist bump, and I was watching it behind the bar in the theater on my headphones while a movie was playing.
Okay.
Nice. And that was one where she was definitely the favorite to win it. There wasn't really much question that she was not going to win. But every now and then there are upsets, like the biggest one that happened tonight. Sure. And so there was still a possibility that the Academy would prefer a recognizable Hollywood actor over Yoo Young-jung. So I always love when actors or anyone from another country making a movie in a foreign language gets an award. I absolutely loved when Parasite swept last year. So
that was just
again the recognition of a great actor performing in their mother tongue in their own language. That was really exciting. I was just really happy to see that happen. And she also gave a really heartfelt speech, which was just wonderful.
She did.
The one other one I will quickly mention, I was very happy when Two Distant Strangers for live action short film won.
Okay.
I thought it was really the most likely one to do it, and it felt like the right choice for the Academy.
Great.
I think for me, it was Daniel Kaluuya winning for Best Supporting Actor because he absolutely disappeared into Fred Hampton. Like the voice. I just recently watched an interview with him where he would put so much energy into his vocal intonations that he would completely lose his voice by the end of not even by the end, by 2/3 of the way through the shoot. And so they would have like 2/3 of the day. And so they would have like constant like lemon tea and all these things so he could finish like, his day's work. I was blown away by him in that film. Like as much as I love Lakeith Stanfield, as much as I love Leslie Odom Jr. and Sacha Baron Cohen, like Daniel Kaluuya winning that to me was just, it made me really happy. And the other big one too was Another Round winning international feature.
That was cool. Yeah,
I think when I was a sophomore, junior in high school, I discovered Thomas Vinterberg because I got really into the Dogma 95, and which is the right age to discover that.
Yes,
and so I just love that Mads is starring in this that's already getting an American remake with
Leo
DiCaprio. I don't know. Yeah, those were the two that got me really, really, really happy.
Okay,
nice.
All right.
All right, let's unpack the biggest upset of the night.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that.
So
their biggest upset.
Their biggest upset.
Obviously, yes. Yeah. So it was assumed that Chadwick Boseman was going to win Best Actor, and instead Anthony Hopkins won for The Father.
He did.
This was the biggest. I was super shocked when that happened. The problem was that the Academy structured, or the producers of the show, I should say, structured it assuming that the night was going to end with Chadwick Boseman's wife coming up and giving it a very emotional speech,
Absolutely.
and that it was going to top the night off.
Yeah.
And instead, Anthony Hopkins, who rightly assumed that he wasn't going to win, did not attend the awards.
Home.
Yeah.
And so when Joaquin Phoenix announced the winner, he said, "And the Academy accepts the award on his behalf," and then credits roll.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Everyone, I think, was like,
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a moment.
And on the one hand, it was a big upset because of the way that it kind of happened. But I feel like at the same time you can't really hate that Hopkins won.
Of course, yeah,
it was astounding.
Totally, yeah. It's one of those things where Hopkins is freaking amazing in that role. And again, it's one of those things where oftentimes for Oscars, sometimes the right win or the win that feels right isn't necessarily the best one. It's just what for the time in the moment, for the zeitgeist, what would be the right choice.
Yeah.
And so it is curious that there were enough Oscar voters who
didn't give a shit about that.
Or just felt so moved by Anthony Hopkins' performance, which I don't fault them for being moved by his performance. It's an incredible performance. And
it was the moment. Chadwick Boseman should have won. That was because, and not just because he died, and not just because he died in a very brave and sad way. Yeah. But he really, nothing in his career up to Ma Rainey
was as good as
led me to believe that he could give a performance like that. He showed that he would have had the most incredibly diverse career. He could do any, compare him in that movie to Da 5 Bloods, and then compare that to Black Panther, and then compare that to Get On Up, and you're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
So you could have just done anything that you wanted.
Anything. We would probably in the next couple of years have seen him in a musical.
Really,
totally.
Yeah.
Anything, or in a gay role, or anything.
He was a character actor hiding as a movie star.
Really,
because he really could. He could absolutely disappear, and he disappeared in that movie. I never thought. I never once was I'm looking at Black Panther right now. Not for a second.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I think it's the again, every now and then producers will decide to change the order that awards are given out. But I feel like every time it happens, I always feel weird that Best Picture is not the last award given out.
Yeah.
It seems that the idea to make a gamble that doesn't pay off, it doesn't seem like a good idea.
And that was we can 99.9% assume that that's what it was.
Oh yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason they. Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: if you look at everything, it was almost like everyone got like it was like you get an award and you get an award and you get an award. Like it went across the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like everyone got what they deserved, and everyone got something. It wasn't like, Nomadland swept it all, or Sound of Metal or Promising Young Woman swept it. Nothing swept anything.
No,
this
really.
year.
Yeah, they're everything that was seemingly deserving of the award got the award it deserved.
Award.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We knew Sound of Metal would get editing and sound editing, and
totally.
I mean, and that was such a good movie. So,
yeah.
But I don't think it deserved Best Picture. I just,
Sure, it definitely deserved its nominations for it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
All right. There's not much more to unpack about that.
Let's
move on.
We'll move on. And I love you, Chadwick Boseman. My kids love Black Panther. I will watch it again this summer. Times, so.
And any surprises outside of that we want to mention?
Surprises? I mean,
I had two that I particularly thought I definitely thought Nomadland was going to get cinematography, and was a little surprised that Mank got it.
I will agree with you.
And I thought that the father would get production design, and then Mank got it. Which, looking back, I should have given more credence to Mank. I definitely think Fincher making an old Hollywood movie in black and white, it definitely falls into the place where a lot of the below the line aesthetic stuff falls into favoring that movie. And so maybe I should not have been surprised by that, but I think I was just so taken by the cinematography in Nomadland and the production and design in The Father.
Look at it from a technical point of view, and when you're shooting black and white, everything is different, right? It's more expensive, different. I mean, production design is different because it's like you can do as many colors as you still have to work with a lot of colors, but you also have to remember it's going to be shot in black and white, and it's going to be shown in black and white, and that resolution is different, right?
Yeah.
So
the way you light it and
everything is different. It's much harder.
Yeah, there was a great conversation with the cinematographer of Mank, I can't remember his name, after the awards show, where they were asking him, how has this changed the way that you look at movies and that you shot in black and white? He said, it's completely changed the way that I shoot all my movies from now on.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, and to get that opportunity to do that, I mean, that's, that is not often. So, I wasn't surprised by that at all. I thought that Mank would win some technical awards.
Fincher gets those technical ones
because he's a master.
He comes from a technical background. He's a great director, but I don't know if he's much of an actor-director so much as a technical.
He's all about the composition, framing, the look, and he gets great performances, but he's not necessarily an actor's director.
He hires people, but he gets
he hires professionals.
Cast. He hires professionals.
He trusts them.
Yes, he doesn't have to tell them much. I don't think he's one of those that slaps his actresses to get them to cry. I mean,
he just does more than 100 takes until they do the right take.
God, yes, he does. Jeez.
All right, Jared. Any surprises that you want to mention?
My biggest surprises came in the documentary areas, documentary short and documentary long form. I thought for sure Hunger Ward or Do Not Split would win documentary short, because Colette, as moving as it was, also kind of felt like
it was a surprise.
Filmmakers taking advantage of an old lady too.
Yeah.
It felt a little exploitative to me in a way that didn't feel good. Because there's a difference between I need to get this camera in front of you to capture this, and hey, let us take you on a journey of your past and videotape how it wrecks you. And that's what it kind of felt like to me. I guess at the end of the day, I can see why Hunger Ward didn't win too, because of I feel
a similar feeling of exploitation, maybe, or
maybe, but at the same time, I interviewed the co-director and producer of it,
Mike Sherman.
They were told by those parents and they were told by those doctors, we want you to film anything you can because we're tired of people talking about this. And we need people to see this. Simultaneously, I feel like they could have still gotten that point across without 30-second long close-ups of the faces of dead children.
Oh, yeah.
But Do Not Split
Yeah, Do Not Split was captivating.
And talk about being of its time.
Yeah.
Like
on the ground during the Hong Kong protests.
yeah, like to me that felt like the most important.
The most zeitgeisty.
Yeah. So and then for documentary feature, don't get me wrong. I have watched all 5 of these movies. My Octopus Teacher is a damn delight. It is cute. It is fun. It feels good. You watched octopuses reach out like I love you,
Yep.
which is like the craziest thing in the world to see.
They hugged, okay?
Yeah,
They hugged.
But like Time and Collective and Crip Camp are masterpieces.
Everyone thought Crib Camp was going to win.
Yeah, in a way, like Octopus Teacher is sort of the audience award.
It really,
for
really
sure.
did.
The feel good,
it felt like, I just wanted to feel good.
Yeah.
And this is the one that's
and maybe for this year, maybe that's what
it got so much press, though. It got so much press.
I do want to say on the Colette of the short documentary short. I don't know if you noticed, Jared, but in the credits of Colette, when I watched it the first time, I realized it's produced by Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment for the newest Medal of Honor game. So that means Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment are now Academy Award winners for winning Colette.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
I wonder, you almost wonder if they were over in Europe filming like background plates for the video games, and they were like
kind of just like stumbled upon this.
Yeah,
movie.
like let's tell this story.
I think it's more the fact that I think a lot of game developers, or gaming publishers who make either World War II shooters have realized that like they need to like take a little more care as to telling these stories. Like when Battlefield 1 came out, there was a big effort like we're gonna tell stories like we're gonna respect the stories of those who fought in World War 1. And so I think maybe this might be Electronic Arts saying we're gonna make another Medal of Honor game, but we're gonna respect the stories of the people who went through this.
Right,
and so it's sort of part of their marketing, I think, in a way.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and like I remember, kind of off topic, but not really. I can't think of the name of whatever, if it was Medal of Honor or what it was, but the last big first-person shooter war game where it was a terrorist attack in Piccadilly Circus.
It's I think it's one of the Modern Warfare games.
Yes. It was just Modern Warfare. Just Modern Warfare.
Yep.
Playing that screwed me up a little bit, and I was like, "This
doesn't feel right."
I'm supposed to be having fun, and I'm shooting at suicide bombers in Piccadilly Circus while there's British people running and screaming around me.
Yeah,
isn't.
I don't really play those games anymore.
But it was like, but it would be one thing if you were supposed to be playing it like, oh my god, this is intense, this is war. But it wasn't. It was like, catch the grenade, throw the grenade, dive. Like it was still played like a freaking fun shooter, and it was like. That was the first time playing a first-person shooter like that made me feel dirty.
And I think a ton of documentary filmmakers feel that way.
Yeah, and
they don't get up in the morning and go, they do. But a lot of them, it's hard work. Lifeboat?
Again, Mike Sky Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, who was like half the time we were giving people water, and acting as, part of the medical crew.
It becomes Gonzo-ish, basically, at that point.
Basically, yeah. And so Sky, basically would be like, shoot this, and then half the crew like, save them. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, there goes another one off the boat. I mean, can you imagine? No, thank you. Yeah. Octopus Teacher?
Yeah,
seems like Disneyland.
I will watch that movie again. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. I think that Netflix is going to dominate the documentary category for years to come. Yeah. They have it down. Whoever they hired as their documentary head, oh my God.
Well, they've realized it's the most consumable thing that you can watch.
I mean, seriously. And since Tiger King, whatever your opinions about that, it wasn't about the content. It was how it was done. It was how it was done.
Timing.
Yeah, timing. Yeah, and Netflix marketing note, because so many people love watching true crime stuff, and so Netflix has just doubled
true
down.
crime. They're
Just
true crime.
feed us
They
true
do,
crime.
and you're just
Yeah.
like another one.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like SNL totally made fun of us for that, and it's so
Yeah.
true.
I know,
It's
yeah.
so
Yeah.
true.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's this really good documentary on Netflix right now called The Last Blockbuster.
I
Um,
haven't seen it
There's
yet.
this guy named Jared Rassick who's incredibly I don't want to say handsome, but I would say massively beautiful.
Mhm.
Who's in it quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I think the more you
Yeah.
Okay,
the more you watch it, the better.
last thing we need to do before we finish recording is do need to say what our favorite things of this year's Oscars were. I want to say real quick, Bong Joon-ho and Sharon Choi announcing Best Director was really great because I love seeing Bong Joon-ho just speak Korean and not have subtitles and
Yeah.
have a moment where you're like,
It's like,
oh wait,
oh.
what am I hearing? And then Sharon Choi shows
And
up
like not care.
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Bong
Yeah.
Joon-ho. I love Sharon Choi. They're great.
Yeah, I loved that they gave another Asian
Yes.
an award, and we can probably save a conversation about Nomadland for another day because
Sure.
I think we should
Yep.
for sure because it wasn't my favorite.
For Best Picture,
It wasn't my
It wasn't
favorite.
my- it wasn't
my
mine
favorite at all.
What's that?
It wasn't my favorite.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all.
It wasn't my least favorite, but it wasn't my favorite.
Correct. Yeah, I would go there as well. But I am happy for her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am excited to see what she is going to do next.
Can't wait to see the Marvel movie. She's
Marvel,
Yeah.
Marvel, like you are amazing.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for that. And
Can you all agree that Judas and the Black Messiah was the best film of the year? Can
No.
you agree?
It was a great film. I don't
Great
know if
film,
I'd
but
say
no.
it's the best though.
there, you know what?
I mean, of the ones nominated.
There wasn't one. I'm sorry.
Well, no, the
I
actual
would-
best film of the year was First Cow. Sorry, it was First Cow.
Uh,
I'll fight.
The only
anyone
thing
over
I can say about this category is that I'm happy Nomadland won.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, I am happy it won because
So who would you have wanted to
I
win
don't
for Best
know.
Picture?
I
Of the
really
nominees.
don't
Of the
know.
nominees. Who would you? I mean, that's what people want to
I know.
That's what people want to know.
Not how about this? Not Nomadland.
Okay. All right.
No, I really because I was so happy that there were multiple awards given out for people who deserved it.
Right.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom costume and freaking makeup.
Yeah.
The first African American women to win
Yeah.
makeup.
Ever.
I mean, oh my God, The Sound of Metal, you guys, was honestly one of my favorite freaking films of the year.
It's
And
so good.
again, very technical. Riz
Mhm.
Ahmed, I love him. I would have loved for him to win, of course, but he's got an amazing career ahead of him.
Oh, yeah.
Not
Amazing
slowing down at
career.
all,
No.
yeah.
He's gonna do big things,
Mhm.
and so I'm happy. No Bad Land. Again, we will talk about it at another time.
Yep.
Is not my favorite film.
Mhm.
Why? Because I felt like I was watching a documentary. I'm sorry. And Frances McDormand, she bothers me.
I see. I
Interesting.
felt like I was watching a documentary, which was great until Frances McDormand showed up,
Thank you.
and then I was like, "Oh, that's right.
Oh,
like,
right. This is a
put
movie.
put the movie star in now."
And she just so like anti-Hollywood, which it
Yeah.
bothers me too.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, don't even show up, okay, to the award ceremony if you're not
right, if you hate,
if you don't
much.
like all this.
yeah,
And she looked okay, but I was like, put some makeup on. I don't know.
uh-huh.
I love her. I really do. But she just, man, I just wish that she would embrace it a little bit more.
right,
I really do.
especially because of how acclaimed she is.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So that's
All right.
that's it. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. But
We got to cut this off now. We've been
Okay.
running it.
I
All
can
right.
go on
My
and on.
my personal favorite moment was Glenn Close doing the butt.
It was
Glenn
fine.
Close nominated 8 times.
Yeah,
and, nominated 8 times, never won. But
yeah,
there's always got to be one.
dude, if
there was-
she won for Hillbilly Elegy though, she would have like.
I bet she
not-
would have
She
laughed
would
at
not have been
herself.
stoked about that. I don't think.
She'd been like, fine.
I'll,
She would've been
I'll
like,
take
for-
it.
She would have been like, for this?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Are
take
you
it.
are you sure?
Yeah. Always the bridesmaid.
Also,
well,
we were going to talk about our worst part of the telecast, and I would say the memoriam was the in memoriam section was
yeah.
not
awful.
great. Yeah,
And
They forgot Jessica Walter.
and it just went so fast that it was bad.
And Naya Riviera from Glee. Are you kidding me? No, but Soderbergh should be ashamed of himself on that one if he put it together.
Mhm.
I hope it wasn't because otherwise I like everything else Soderbergh did with the telecast. I like the way it looked. I like the way he shot it. I hope that
I like how he shot it a lot.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. And honestly, I will say, if I was to give Oscar ceremonies a pass fail every year, I would give this one a pass. It's not a great pass, but to me, like I wasn't disappointed by it. It was.
Let's
I was
just hope
satisfied.
that next year it will be normal.
It will.
Yeah,
It will.
Normal.
It will.
With people and seats and normal. That's all I want.
And like a lot more movies.
And I will be in
that
LA
people
and I
saw.
will be at the park. Yeah, and I will.
yeah.
So, anyway,
Got
that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, we're always happy to have our discussion post Oscars and post award season. It's always a fun time. This is I've heard it described before as sports for nerds.
Yeah.
I like getting involved with it. Again, we are showing Travel Hunters this coming weekend at the theater, as well as continuing to show The Father. We also have one more showing of Billy, the Billie Holiday documentary. That's going to play this Sunday. And we're also adding another outdoor movie night in the alleyway on Tuesdays, where we're going to show our classic B horror films. Also continuing the Japanese monster movies on Thursday nights. We're still doing everything we can to keep going. Please come out if you miss movies.
Please,
We really appreciate
especially this next month in May. We really need you. We really need you to talk it up, and let people know how safe we are and how much fun you're having, not eating concessions, but watching a movie.
Yeah.
And please support us and local places downtown as well.
Please do.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening to Small Town Film Ghosts, a production of Bendfilm and Tin Pan Theater.
Yeah.
My name is Todd Leiser.
Jared Rassick.
Julie Furness.
And until next time.
Sex voice.